that's Twilight Beach ticked off. 28k day today. So I think that's one of the gentlest introductions to the Te Araroa. Last night hardly any wind, but enough. I woke up this morning, didn't even have condensation in the tent. Hardly any wind packing up, no rain. So definitely a cruisy start for me. See you out there. This is where it's pretty easy to get confused. We've got the big markers here and you think logically you'd go down that path there. It's got Scott's Point written on it, and when I look on the app, Scott Point's almost looked off the trail. So I headed on up here, but the one saviour is the Te Araroa Trail app. I only walk a couple of minutes and I jump back in the app just to check I was in the right path, and I wasn't, so definitely heading down here. Try and do it with my finger, but you can just look down to the left here. This little one here, it's Twilight Beach that we walked down yesterday. You can see this little hill just down here. That's this little point that we climbed over. And then there was Te Araroa Beach. It's just there. Where's my finger gone? Sorry. Te Araroa Beach is just down on the other side there. And that little point over there, that's actually where the Cape Reinga lighthouse was. So that's where we started. Well, here it is. My first glance at the, I don't know if you call it the famous or the infamous 90-mile beach. I'll head down now. And just before I head down, that really is my last look at Cape Reinga, where I started. Well, here we go, down these little steps. And I can actually see two little dots down on the beach. That'll be a couple that were camping last night. And I think I said they were from Alaska. That was a mistake. They're actually from the Netherlands. So they were first out of camp this morning. I was second out of camp. Not that I was rushing, but I was just aware of high tide this afternoon, and it'd be really nice to get to the next campsite before high tide kicks in, so I'm not walking in the soft sand. See you on the beach. Man, these stairs are brutal. I'm glad I'm going down them. Not far now. And we can just see 90-mile beach. So once I get down this last flight of stairs, that's going to be my view for the next 3 days. First steps on 90-mile beach. So I'm not very far down here, and I'll get to Te Araroa Stream. And that sort of comes out from the big sand dunes. You might be able to see some sand dunes in the background, just over there. They're a bit of a tourist attraction for people that come up to the northern tip of New Zealand. So hopefully I can get over the stream without taking my boots off, and we'll have a bit of a chat on the other side about common questions I'm getting asked, or the main one really about what made me want to attempt the TA. So this is Te Araroa Stream, and this is where I've come from down here. I just walked across. I got my feet a little bit wet, but that's all right. So I just feel a little bit sorry for last year's TA hikers. So the section I've just done and shown you, that was closed last year because of the wild dog activity. So they were getting bussed in. They went up and touched the sign at Cape Reinga and then got bussed in and walked down Te Araroa Stream to start their Te Araroa. So it seemed a bit strange to set out to walk the length of New Zealand and touch the sign at Cape Reinga, and the first thing you do is hop on a bus. But there were some people who were pretty staunch about it. A couple of Australian ladies, Nikki and Judy, they did exactly what I would have done, and they actually walked the road section down to the end of these sand dunes, and they actually camped up in the beach somewhere here and got their first water source out of this Te Araroa Stream. So onward I'll head, and I'll talk to you again soon. So you can see that little rocky island out there. Pretty much I'm going along the beach, and until I get to that island. So just off that island there's a little point, and that's where today's campsite is. And you can see here, it's pretty much, the tide's just turned about half an hour ago. You can definitely see it starting to come in, so hopefully I can get round there before high tide and I don't have to walk in the soft sand. Well, here we go. I mentioned earlier I have a bit of a chat about why I'm doing TA. I sort of look at the next 3 days, today and the next 2 days down 90 Mile Beach, so pretty bland scenery, not a lot to show people. And I thought I'll chat today about why I'm doing it, because it's a common question I get. And probably tomorrow I'll have a bit of a chat about what I'm looking forward to on the TA. So I've done a lot of reading, I've watched a lot of other people on YouTube, and I've got a New Zealand mum and an Australian dad. So I've been in Australia 21 years, but I was actually born in New Zealand and lived down the bottom of the North Island. So I've already been in the Te Araroa Ranges and done a couple of the great walks and that in New Zealand. So just based on what I've read about the TA and my experience when I'm younger, I'll talk about what I'm looking forward to and what I'm not. But I guess I'm just in my early 50s now, and life in general. I left for Australia. I just turned 30-year-old. I was an adult student at uni. I finished my degree at 27. And ever since I went to Australia, I've pretty much lived to work instead of the other way around, working to live. And I went over there to set myself up pretty much with the shirt on my back. That's all I had. And I worked pretty hard. I've always been in sort of management positions. I've run a couple of businesses, and it wasn't strange for me to have my phone ringing at 6 o'clock in the morning, start dealing with issues. And if I walked out of the office at midnight, I was actually feeling guilty. And a few things happened. I had a neighbour I was just getting to know, and I do a bit of personal training work as well, and he was going to come over and train in the gym with a couple of my clients. I said no problem. He just had what he thought was minor surgery, and he called me out across the fence a couple of weeks later. He had a bag strapped around his waist, his bladder had been removed, and he passed away at the age of 53. Completely unexpected. I've just lost my mother-in-law. She was a lovely lady. She was around 62, 63. She got diagnosed with cancer, so she did get past retirement age, but just with her health and that, she really lost all her golden years. It was really sad. I got a friend that I play football with. He's a couple of years older than me. He's dealt with throat cancer. I lost a cousin in his 30s from cancer, and now his father, around that retirement age, he's been diagnosed again, and he's battling it. So here I was, just stressed out, working long hours, and then suddenly a lot of people around me started falling ill, and I just thought, man, life's too short. And I suppose what instigated it, I had a structural engineering consultancy I was running, and all of a sudden, if I had to describe the Australian construction industry in one word, it'd be corrupt. And I've been speaking up for years saying we're just not doing our job properly, and now there's significant structural issues on multiple buildings in Australia, and as a result the insurance industry is starting to walk away, and a lot of smaller businesses like mine were getting affected. People like Engineers Australia, who are meant to be the peak national body for our industry, they just don't care. They're more worried about playing political games and just turn a blind eye to what's really going on. And part of my business that is surviving is an outsourcing office I've got over in Philippines, and a lot of consultancies in Australia use that for their drafting work, and they're ringing me asking me for help because they couldn't certify the work that they had taken on because they couldn't get any insurance at all, and they're in breach of contract and they couldn't fix the breach because nobody had offered them insurance. Without it they couldn't certify. And I did a renewal for my own business, and it's squeaky clean, never made a claim, no indication of a claim. And I got declined by 17 out of 18 insurance companies. And I thought, far out, I'm one decline away from being in breach of contract. And that was my reality check. I I was regretful after put my heart and soul into a profession, and the business was just ticking over the way I really wanted it. And then all of a sudden it was just too risky in my mind to continue trading. So I laid off the few staff I had. That was really sad. A couple of them had approached me and asked if they could work for me. I worked with them in the past life, and so that was pretty heartbreaking. And I guess I just decided it's just time for a bit of a reset. I did a lot of sport. I competed in sport when I was young internationally and stuff, and as a result I've done some of New Zealand's great walks and that, but I always had this burning urge that I just wanted to do more hiking in New Zealand. And I thought, well, what better time than now? And I stumbled across this thing called the TA, or the Te Araroa Trail, and today's day 2. I don't know if I'll make it all the way to Bluff, but here I am, and that's sort of why. I guess it was just I don't know if you want to call it a midlife crisis, I don't know. And hopefully by the end of it, there'll be a bit of clarity, and I know I just want to go back. I'm too early to retire, and I just want to contribute to society, and I just don't feel I can make a positive contribution to society as a structural engineer in Australia anymore. So there are other options available to me, and I guess I've got a few months of walking to thrash that out and think about what I want to do next. So that's why I'm here and taking you for the ride with me. And I really hope, if I can get one person, people ask me to record this as I go, but if one person gets motivated by what I'm doing, I never thought I'd even be able to attempt this. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but I'm here attempting it. And I always say to my kids, be careful what's deemed failure. If I don't make it to the end, it's an unsuccessful attempt. It's not a failure. I say to my kids, failure is being too scared to try something. And get out there and give things a go. There's plenty of people who will knock you and tell you, oh, you failed, but they haven't even got to the start line. So ignore those people and just put your mind to it and get out and have a go. And if I can motivate one people by sticking with a little bit of technology as I go and recording this, and you don't have to do the TA, you don't have to do a thru-hike. You get off that couch and it makes you do one thing that you didn't think you could do, and I can motivate one person to do that, then it's all worth my while. There's going to be no shout me a coffee sort of stuff on my channel. This is not a financial channel. I'm not motivated by money at all. If people wanted to give back, the best way to give back is to get out there and try something you haven't done before. A few things I'll try and do a little different as I go. Some people come up with some really good questions, and trying to text everybody back can be pretty hard. So if somebody comes up with a good question, I have a question and answer section on the channel, and I might just do short video clips to answer the really good questions. And I've got a couple of people I'm going to have an interview section as well. One guy that really motivated me to do this walk, a friend of mine from Australia, his name's Richard Barnes, and you can check out his Facebook. It's called Blue Moon, his channel. He's the first person in the world to kayak solo and unassisted without stops from Australia to New Zealand, and he pulled it off successfully on his second attempt. And Richard's got a date set in his calendar, and the plan is that he's going to join me on the Wanganui River kayak leg. And I asked him, I said, can you have a think about what you want to say? I'd really like to do an interview with you for the viewers on my channel, because he motivated me with what he did. He turned, I think it was 61, in the middle of the Tasman Sea all by himself in a kayak, and told me it's the best birthday he ever had. I think each to their own, but he's out there living his dream. So well done, Richard. And another gentleman, I used to live in Wanganui for a few years, and I ran a martial arts gym there, and one of my clients who competed, he's now really involved with the local Murray Pa in Wanganui, and I asked him if he'd do an interview as well, so we can have a bit of a chat about the significance of the Wanganui River to the local iwi, and just explain some of those customs, Maori customs, like, they're welcoming, what the haka means, what the river means to them, and just general Maori etiquette if you ever go onto a Murray Pa. I've never done it, never been on a pa, so I really don't know myself. I know you've got to take your shoes off before you go into their meeting house, and that's about it. But that's me. You can see my bald head. I took my sun hat off because I'm too embarrassed. I'll send you a picture, I'll put it back on. My sun hat's not a fashion item. I've got another hat with me just for camp, so I don't get too embarrassed, but the bald head, I was in my swimming pool, and the kids told Mum, Dad's in the pool, and she didn't believe them. She thought it's too cold, so they took a photo, and I looked at the photo and said, oh my goodness, I've got a helipad, and a receding hairline, and they've almost joined, and I had this stupid 1-inch strip of hair joining the two, and I decided it was time to get old gracefully, so I shaved it off. But yeah, that's one of the things I'm not looking forward to, is my hair growing back with my ridiculous hairline. But I'm going to throw my hat on, and I'll show you. All you're going to see is my sunglasses really, but exactly what somebody with fair skin like me needs. I'll see ya.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Little one. It's a good 17.5-hour flight to get here.
And how do you know what spot of the beach? Do you look for a slight rise in the...
Okay. Oh my goodness, yeah.
That sort of thing, like...
I'm not gonna lie.
When you're looking around, you'll see that there? See that hole?
Yep. Oh, you found two? Man, far out.
Yeah, no, there.
Oh, that's cool. That's rad.
That's the island we could see around the corner with a hole in the rock, and I thought the campsite was near here, but definitely not, further down the beach. I'm about halfway. Well, this looks like the most comfortable seat I'm going to get on 90 Mile Beach, so I'm going to have a little break here. So I made it to camp. I'm all set up here, just tucked myself in behind this little bush here to shelter from the wind a little bit. There's 3 people over there, another Durston tent like I've got, and that's the first Z-Pax duplex that I've seen. Gentleman down here, he was at camp with us last night, so he's got the Z-Pax as well. And then we've got Mike from Alaska over there. He's a bit of an ultralighter. He just sleeps under a tarp. Interesting to see how he goes with New Zealand sandflies in the South Island. And there's the couple over the back there from Netherlands. They're in a Z-Pax duplex tent as well. They're just sitting up. Lovely little spot though. Little area over there where you can cook, but I thought it was a bit grubby though. I probably won't cook over there. I'll just do it outside the tent. The big advantage, we've got a toilet there and it's flushing. So I want you down to the beach and we'll just have a quick look at the view down the bottom. So this is an island just out on the point by our campsite. I think you say Wakatihehua Island. I did my best. Yeah, beautiful little spot. You can walk out there at low tide. We're only an hour after high tide. I reckon you can get out there pretty comfortably now if you wanted to. And we're heading off tomorrow, so this can be my view most of tomorrow, just heading down here. And this is where we came from today. It's a little bit sea spray there, it's a bit hard to see. But I'm all settled in for the night. Probably going to have an earlier dinner, make my video for day 2, and get all packed so I'm ready to go first thing in the morning, so I don't have to pack too much. And yeah, get up bright and early and get down. 30-kilometre day tomorrow, so that'll be the longest day. But talking to a lot of people, they're all feeling it a little bit today, the last 5k, and that's our real taste of what this thru-hike's all about. Although I'm of no illusion, that's an easy day, like good weather and everything. We're not getting wet, we're not getting drenched, we're setting up and pulling down camp in beautiful weather. But still, 28k, body's definitely feeling it. Go back and have some rest. See you tomorrow.